Welcome, friends, it is I, your LostScarf, and it's time for the new god, and there he is, Ullr, dude with axes and dude with a bow. Little known fact, he's a huge fan of Shaun White, and he's disappointed at how he did at the Olympics. So this one's going to be a bit shorter, there's no balancing changes this week, so we're just going to look at the general changes, and then look at Ullr himself, so see you in a minute. There he is, Ullr, the glorious one. Mr. Archer / double axe guy. For the hell of it, he should throw his axes. Well, he does for his one, but there it is. Showing off that he transforms, sort of. Notice how all the Norse gods are the ones with the stances? It's an interesting theme to have there, is that all the Norse gods have the stances. There is Dark Lord Sun Wukong. Mr. Sith right there. His 1 is not changed by it. His 2 is not either, as far as I can tell. His transformations are, though. He does new transformations where he doesn't transform. He just does his dark powers as he's dashing towards you. And then his ultimate is new as well. It's really cool. Then launch tournament.
Match 1, Cognitive Gaming versus Team Coach.
So here's the matchups.
2, Cloud9 HyperX versus Smite. 3, Team Solo Bid versus Denial Esports. 4, Team Dignitas versus SK Gaming. Let's get ready to jungle!
There's going to be some interesting matches there. Now, there's an interesting thing going on. There is the Bracken, which is really buggy, so not everyone's able to do it. Like, I still haven't been able to do it yet because it's too damn buggy. But the Bracken is basically March Madness brackets, and if you accurately, or get close to accurately predicting the brackets of the tournament, you can win a prize. I don't know what the prize is, though. I forgot what it was. Then we got over here Cacodemon. You got a couple more days to get Cacodemon. By the 24th is when the game actually launches, so you gotta hurry up and get that if you want it. And that is everything. So let's take a look at the stings here. Let's take a look at, first off, Hades! The new default skin is King of the Underworld right here. I mean, is it Underworld or Nightmare Hades? Can't remember what it's called right now, but this is the new default skin. So the gold skin is this as well. Those of us who owned Hades prior to today, well, you get to have the classic Hades right there. But no more gold skins for him. The gold skins are only for the new default. So it's weird that we know he has 4, but we can only use 2 of them. But that's how it is. And this is because of China. For China, you're not allowed to show skeletons. It's considered not cool to the dead, so you can't show skeletons. And so because of that, they're like, you know what? Let's just give everyone in America the default skin too. So that way it's easier for transitions and stuff like that. So there you go. There you go. Another change is there's 2 portrait changes of Amana and Apollo. We'll see that later on. And there's another model change, and that is to Aphrodite, my baby Afro. There she is. And come on, there it is, right there. She's blue now instead of pink, and she's less ornate. Her hair is now in the back, and they've toned it down a little bit, and they've given her a butt cover. So if you're a butt person, too bad for you. And personally, I don't like it. Look, it's Aphrodite, so she's still awesome. But she just doesn't look as cool. Like, she's less flashy now. She doesn't stand out. She is muted. That's how I feel about her. And, like, the old Aphrodite. She's very pink. Her hair's right here. It's out there. She's flowing a lot of clothing around. She's got stockings on. She's very ornate. She is flashy as hell. And that's how I think Aphrodite should be. She should be flashy. She should be drawing your attention to her. This one is she's more of a background character. She doesn't stand out at all. She's just there. And it's unfortunate to me. She's just muted. Though, the other color does look very good here. It does blend the colors very well. Good mesh of colors here. Looks very nice. So good job to them on that one. I just don't like it. I feel like she's not as show-offy as she should be, because she's the god of love. And then the gold skins also look pretty good with the contrast of colors here. If we have to have this, which we're gonna have it because they already made it, the only skin I really don't like is this one. It just feels way too muted, while as at least the purple one here does stand out quite a bit. So there's that. Now let's look at Ullr, and here's Ullr right here. And Ullr is an archer, so he looks like an archer. He's got a little cape there, he's got the hood there, and he's got his bow. And he's very leather armored up. He's of the same aesthetic as Thor and Odin. Less of the aesthetic of Tyr, because Tyr's more browny, while everyone else is more like leathery and blue. So there you go. But of the 3, he's probably the least colorful. He doesn't stand out as much, which makes sense because he's a freaking archer. You don't want to stand out when you're an archer. And dude has hair. Also, he has apparently a Mr. Fantastic blue, gray hairline. Then here's Strider, where he looks red now, so there you go. Red and blue. Or I guess brown, burgundy, and blue. So there you go with that. Voice pack.
Gank, middle lane. Quiet.
Enemies at the Gold Fury. Return to base.
He sounds familiar.
Enemies have returned right. Ultimate is ready.
I think he's Vulcan.
Gank middle lane. Enemy missing right.
I think he's Vulcan.
Gank middle lane. For honor. Enemies behind us.
Maybe Thor.
Attack the Gold Fury. Help middle lane.
I don't know about Odin. I don't know. He sounds like someone else. They usually use the same voice actors, which is not a bad thing if they're really trying to sound different. And he does sound different, so it's a good job to the voice actor. But you can tell that he's someone else. All right, there's a couple general changes to talk about here. First one has got to be probably a big one is right here. Conquest map Rome, and you can add bots to it. Eventually you can make it co-op. So what happened here is you can now look at the Conquest map as practice. It'll be better than jungle practice, obviously, because you can actually go into the jungle at the time of Conquest map timing and get your jungling practice down. So you just time everything right and just do things as you should in the actual match. So it's going to be good practice there. Like, jungle practice is good for some things. Conquest map Rome is going to be good for other things. So you're going to get your things down. And once you get co-op, you can practice clearing with teammates and having the timing down in that way. So that'll be great. That'd be a great tool for everyone to use to get better at jungling. So that'd be awesome there. Also at laning, just for the flow of laning with whatever comp you want. Another change is to item shop. They have a new recommended, and they also changed how stats look on that one as well. They added 15 seconds to arena. So now you have 45 seconds to get your build and go to buff camps instead of 30 seconds. This is because sometimes people just take a while. So they've added 15 seconds to that. And a pretty big one is what they did to WoG, which is level 3 Hog, as that is. Gold Furies and Fire Giant now flash yellow color when they are at 25% HP, which means you can use your WoG on them. And this feels like another step towards dumbing down, is what a lot of people were saying. And yeah, it is. Same thing with the jungle timers, but it is what it is. It's here now. And I'm on the fence about it. Because the pressure and the drama of the fight for those Gold Fury and Fire Giant was eyeballing that 25%, and sometimes someone would cast it early, and then someone would cast it right, and then bam, it's gone, and there's the drama there of that fight. Now it is whoever quick draws on the yellow first. And so it's, there's drama there, but it's different, so maybe it's fine. And they also changed the Killing Spree stuff now. It is Killing Spree, Rampage, Unstoppable, Divine, Immortal, and Godlike. They got rid of God mode. And it goes up to 13. Like, it's every other kill increases the shout of it. And that is everything. There is no balancing. There is no God changes. None of that. They need to let the pros prepare for the tournament, so they're doing that. So expect a lot of changes after the tournament for sure. And now let's take a look at Ullr. Alright, let's take a look at the portraits. Here's Apollo. Apollo. And there he is. Looks pretty cool there. He's trying to finger you to death right there. He's got the touch of death. He's like, meow, going at you. And then we got Vamana. No one's gonna get that Simpsons reference. Okay, here we go. Here's Vamana. And here's his portrait. It's cool he's attacking you, but that face. That face don't look right. I like Happy Vamana, because he's got like this smug happiness about him. And now it's just, take a shot to the face. And I'm less a fan of that. But there you go. That's Vamana. Let's take a look at Ullr now. Ullr. There we go. Now we're going to go be Ullr now. Now Ullr's got a lot of stuff. Okay, I'll explain it now while we're loading. Ullr is another stance god, but it's an ultimate stance. So he gets buffs from his ultimate, like Hell does. But his stance is different from Tyr and Hell. For Hell is, when you do her abilities, half of the cooldown goes to the other side, so that you can't just spam all of her abilities. While as for Tyr, when you do his stance switch, which is at 3, it resets Fearless and Exposed. So for Ullr at the ultimate, we'll look at his passive. His passive is a reward to using your abilities for spamming. It reduces 1 second on your cooldowns. His cooldowns are 14 seconds, 18 to 14 seconds, and 15 seconds. So he has pretty long cooldowns. So you get rewarded for doing all your stuff because it brings down your passives. The passive brings down your cooldown, so that's what that does. But the problem is he is really bad on mana. He sucks mana very quickly, extremely quickly. As you can see here, he can only go through about 6 powers. And then he's out of mana. And so it feels like you have to buy MP5 on him or just straight up mana like Yotan's or Transcendence. Now his abilities are Bladed Arrow, Exposed Weakness, and Hail of Arrows for his ranged form. His Bladed Arrow is an inferior on her impale. It goes through minions but does about 50 less flat damage and 10% less contribution. So it can go through a line, but it doesn't actually clear as well as on hers does. And then his 2 is a Kali buff of he can go from 10 to 50 physical power. And there you go right there. So he gets power and he's just shooting with it for 5 seconds. And then his 3 is Hail of Arrows, which is Artemis' Suppressed Insolent, except it is not as big. I'll show you in a moment. It's this size. It's not that big, but it can go up to 80 range, while Artemis can only go up to 55 range. So you can poke at a longer distance with it, which is kind of cool for that. But it doesn't have the slow like hers does. And you can look at just how fast this arrow comes out. He takes a moment to shoot it, and then it just comes out really fast. It's faster than Honor's Impale. And then same thing for Hail of Arrows. It's the same thing. It takes a moment to come out, and then bam, comes out really quick. Now for his axe form, he has a stun, a throwable stun, and first target hits get stunned. The damage is only 7190, and it stuns up to 1.8 seconds. Then he has a speed buff. That's all it is, a speed buff, from 20% up to 40%. And then his 3 is a leap. There you go. And his leap is 50 to 170 damage. Then his passives are 5 to 25% lifesteal in axe form, and 5 to 25% attack speed in bow form. My opinion is you're going to be like this. You're going to be in hunter form, you're just going to be shooting a lot of things, you're going to be poking your opponent with these abilities here, trying to clear with your 1, poking with your 3. Do this buff to hit your opponent for more when you can. But when you get into a situation where you can send your opponent, you're going to quickly switch stun, then leap over maybe, and then do more damage. Or you're just going to stun and then just wail on him with your arrow abilities. And save your leap for escapes. The speed buff's going to be more for just getting to places or for chase. Because you'll go ahead and you'll just speed buff, and then switch over and then do your abilities. If they were not on cooldown. Here's an important thing that Kylax was worried about, and he's right. If you do the buff in one form, it will not apply to the other form. So you can't go for more power and range and go to melee to hit with it. You can't do that. Same thing for the 2, although it's kind of fine because you can just chase and then switch to archer and then quickly do your abilities. The abilities come out really quick. You have a really quick recovery time when you do the switch, so he's alright with that. And that's everything. Ullr is definitely got, because of his mana issues, he's got a very weak early to mid game. His clear is not as good as other hunters. His late game's where he's going to shine, but that's how all hunters are. So that's really what he is. He's got some pokes going on here, but his mana issues are going to hold him back. And just his weak clear is also going to hold him back as well. Late game, he'll chair up just like everyone else does. But that's how I feel about Ullr right now. I could be wrong. But right now, he just feels underpowered. He doesn't feel balanced. He feels underpowered. But I could be wrong. We'll see how he is in Arena and Conquest, which one of those matches will come up later on today. So, that was the patch. I had fun. Hope you have fun watching. And that's what's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.